We got multiple big Ivan Demidov updates, including where he is right now, exactly when he's going to join the Montreal Canadiens, and a very interesting thing about who he's going to go up against, changing his number. We got a lot of stuff to talk about on the Ivan Demidov front, but we also have a little thing we got to mention about Nick Suzuki, because even though we know he's a 1C, there are some stats that are even mind-blowing to us, and the Habs have also made some sneaky signings that have gone a bit under the radar that we have to talk about, including one prospect that we quite like that you probably remember. We got to dive into all of that on this episode of Habs Digest, and we'll just get straight into it, Jesse. And we got to start with some little sneaky signings. Now, Laval, we knew we signed Jacob Fowler to that ATO this year, the ELC starting next year. They also went and signed, I believe his name is Joseph Dunlap from the NCAA, a solid forward in Laval. But the big one we wanted to talk about that, look, fell to the wayside with all this Demidov, Fowler stuff that we've been talking about, and it's Tyler Thorpe. Now, I know a lot of fans want to talk about Demidov. We'll talk about him in just a minute, but Thorpe, Jesse, in that little preseason stuff last fall, he had some great moments. A reminder, this guy's 6'4", 19 years old, 215 pounds, and his biggest thing is his shot. We heard people say, maybe, I think we've heard the term unicorn, maybe not so much as, Florian Xhekaj, but the thing is, you rarely find a guy this big with a shot of his qualities, what we've always heard from him. Another 27-goal season in 68 games with the Vancouver Giants. I don't know how you stop him and Florian if you put him on the same line. I'm really excited to see him. Got to give a shout out to these other prospects that we got, because I don't know, like a little thing here, adding some size down to Laval.
I'm liking the prospects of that for sure. And it's not just the Montreal Canadiens that are getting bolstered up right now, but it's the Laval Rocket really kind of looking stacked as an AHL team going into this playoff rush. You know that we're going to be on top of that. Again, just some great drafting from the Montreal Canadiens here again. And we have to congratulate Tyler Thorpe because this isn't just a given to get your ELC. It's not all guys that are drafted, especially in some later rounds like him that do get it. And, there's a lot to like about his game. And to get us a little bit excited, we're hearing some early kind of Brendan Gallagher type comparables coming from, playing out west there. But again, like the size is obvious, 6'4". Some people are even having him listed at 6'5". But again, like with that shot, being able to kind of go to the front of the net, play physically, like lay big hits. Obviously, we've kind of highlighted him a couple times on the show because he's got like a surprise of a shot for a big man like that. So, and his skating has really kind of improved as well. So love the structure of that team that we're kind of building in Laval right now. I feel like he's going to bring a lot to the equation. And we're seeing lots of guys, just like in Laval, where it feels like they might get their chance with the Habs eventually. This is a guy where, if everything does work well, for sure, he is going to get a chance with the big club as well.
Yeah, and look, not to mention a 5th round pick. Like you said, he's not a given just to get this. Like, this guy was not super highly touted when he was drafted. They got him in the 5th round. He showed up at that preseason training camp kind of stuff. And look, again, his season this year was not that much better than the year before. I mean, a little more goal scoring in 17 more games. There's nothing that jumps out off the page to you. But the thing is, again, being that big with that kind of shot, it'll take you a little longer to develop. And what I will say is right now, Laval, the number 1 seed in the AHL, we know Jacob Fowler's going to get some starts. I'm hoping to see Thorpe being deployed with some guys that can help set him up. Because look, one thing Pascal Vincent has done very well this year is to get the most out of his guys, especially when it comes to goal scoring. Jared Davidson jumping out of nowhere. A guy like Sean Farrell having an incredible second half. And of course, Florian Xhekaj, 20-goal season, which I think almost no one would have expected him to be that good. So just good news for Tyler Thorpe. I think it's a great environment for him to be in. But speaking of point getting, Jesse, look, Nick Suzuki, there's no argument anymore. Obviously, he's a 1C. We're not going to dive into that again. But what I do want to show you is a little thing that almost caught me off guard today when I was looking at the NHL leading scores. Did you guys know that Nick Suzuki is 12th in the entire NHL in terms of points? And he is 2 points back of Jesper Bratt for being top 10 in the entire NHL in terms of points. Like, we talk about Nick Suzuki, being a great center, top 10, top 15 center. Yeah, you can make that argument, right? He's been absolutely unbelievable. But nearly top 10 in the NHL in total points is absolutely absurd. Look at the names above him there, like McDavid, McCarr, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Marner, Pasternak, Draisaitl, Kucherov, McKinnon, Crosby, Bratt. But again, it gets even better, Jesse, when you look at just the centers. This is the top 6 in center scoring this year. Suzuki 6th. Only guys ahead of him, Crosby, McDavid, Eichel, Draisaitl, and McKinnon. And I also want to point out, Suzuki has the 3rd best faceoff percentage of these players behind only Draisaitl and Crosby. He has only 22 even strength goals. The only guys on this list above him are McKinnon and Draisaitl. And again, you look at even the shorthanded points. He got 2 shorthanded points. OT and game-winning goals, he's only behind Draisaitl in both. I know we sing his praises all the time, Jesse, but like 1C is almost starting to undersell it. This guy is, like, when you look at the numbers, it's like borderline superstar level production.
Well, every player that we're looking at here is an elite player in the NHL. We can't argue otherwise. So we'd have to say if Nick Suzuki is in this company, he is playing right now like one of the best players in the NHL, obviously an elite company, and he's bringing both the offense and the defense. It's not just this point production, but it's also like the defense that he's bringing as well, which is bringing him into the Selke conversation. A lot of buzz right now for him. Like, personally, he's a plus 19. The team as a whole right now for the Montreal Canadiens, a minus 17. So it's like when he's on the ice, he's making things happen, but this team is missing offense when he's not on the ice. Obviously, with Demidov coming that 2C, that's definitely going to help with this situation. But again, just kind of doing a little bit of everything for this team, which when you kind of put that up, like when you start looking at him, obviously Crosby kind of brings it both ways. But when you look at even the defensive impact and then with his offensive numbers, this now starts to take him again into the elite companies when we're kind of looking at the full picture, which we definitely have to with Nick Suzuki here. And big shout out as well, if we're talking about, elite company in the NHL, Cole Caufield, tied for 10th in the NHL right now with 37 goals, tied with Sam Reinhart. John Tavares there having an amazing season. So this has been a revelation where we know like Suzuki right now is breaking decades-long point records for this team. And then Caufield as well, just having this both kind of happen. We knew they had chemistry, but for them to kind of click at the same time and only feel like they're going to get better as they keep playing together really gets me excited for what they can do for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Slafkovsky has been clicking with them as well since the Four Nations. Slafkovsky with 18 points in 21 games. Like, again, second half Slav is a real thing. It doesn't feel like he's getting points every single night sometimes, but we know he's winning those board battles, and you can't deny the statistics. 9 goals, 9 assists since the Four Nations. And Suzuki, of course, 32 points in 21 games since the Four Nations has been absolutely unreal. So, again, just looking at those lists, looking at the context, second fewest minutes played per game as well. If you look at this list, the only guy below him is Jesper Bratt, and he's putting up those point totals. Absolutely insane. Leave some love for Nick Suzuki, because I feel like somehow we still don't do it enough, even though we do it every single day. So had to shine some light on that. But final thing we got to talk about, Jesse, we got some big things about Ivan Demidov coming over now to North America. We got some little updates. I want to start with this here. This comes from Aldes. As reported by our colleague Luke Gélina, the Russian forward signed by the Habs on Tuesday has left Russia, but he's currently in Istanbul, Turkey. This was, I think, corroborated by RG.org as well. He's waiting to get his work visas for Canada and the US, and the plan, Jesse, is for him to meet the team in Toronto. That's where he's going to come to Toronto and hopefully get some skating over the weekend before Montreal plays again on Monday, as Chicago is his likely NHL debut. Now, we got to get into his number in a second, because I know some fans have some opinions on that. We will talk about that, but I'm looking at this and I'm so happy. Look, I know we were looking forward to maybe seeing him this weekend, but again, this stuff takes time. Like we mentioned, to have him start at home in the second last game of the season, we might have the playoffs clinched before then. We might not. It might even come on Monday, Jesse. This is going to be an incredibly special moment, not to mention going to go head-to-head against the guy picked at number 2, the one team we were scared was going to take Demidov, Chicago, and Artyom Levshunov. I think this is going to be such a historic night for us fans.
Ivan the Phenom, you heard it here first. Josh, we're not going to be griping about anything right now when it comes to Ivan Demidov. Ivan, we're just happy to have the man over here. And the fact that he's going to get a couple regular season games, it's looking like, before starting the playoffs, all the better. We're, everything here is just gravy at this point. But again, kind of having the stars line up, pun intended here, of like starting them off strong is ideal at home. There's obviously the implications of going against, another kind of star in the NHL in Connor Bedard, even though he's maybe having a little bit of a rougher year. Again, with the pressure being a little bit less, like lesser competition, you feel like the playoff spot can be fairly well secured at that point. It's really kind of a dream start for somebody who he's going to be ready to go. He's been playing hockey. He's in the gym all the time, regardless of ice time there. So you have to feel like he's going to come out and really have an impact right from that first game. Josh, that we're going to be having to go live to cover this, because this is just going to be wild.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the levels of hype, I don't know if they've been higher, since this cup final run. They just haven't. We were saying before the show, this feels surreal, like we said last night, but Montreal right now, what they've done in such a short amount of time, they are a complete outlier. Now, I know part of that comes from the Caufield pick and the trade of Max Pacioretty to get Nick Suzuki, and how they were part of that 21 finals run. And like, we just happened to get a couple of guys who stuck around through the stuff. And now we have these young guys coming up as well. It worked out in a crazy way. Hard to plan that if you're other teams. But Kent Hughes, like, him and Jeff Gorton have done such an amazing job of building the roster with what we had as well. And even we look at the roster, we forget sometimes we still have Kirby Dach. I mean, I know some people like are not super high on him, but we have him plus the young guys coming up. But final thing that we got to talk about, Jesse, it's been unreal this season so far. Ivan Demidov is going to wear number 93, 93. Look, last year Montreal won a Stanley Cup, 1993. I think it fits very well, though he did say he might change it this off season. They are selling the 93. They were selling the 91 the other day. He said he's not doing it. We heard Kaiden might change his number away from 91. We know Demidov might change his number away from 93, but right now that's it. Last guy to wear this, Doug Gilmour. I kind of like it, Jesse. It gives Demidov a bit of a unique flair. He's not taking the 27 to some of the Russians before. I'm kind of happy about that. What do you think about this number? Because I think it suits him. I think this is just such a hype moment to see him coming over.
I love this selection. I think it's great. I preferred over the 11 that I thought that he might default that we've seen him use in the past. These jerseys are just going to start flying out like hotcakes right now. And again, this says something about Ivan Demidov here, absolutely, in the fact that this guy is a team-first guy. It came out where agent Dan Milstein said that, he wasn't about to come and take Kapanen's number. If the number was unavailable, he would have came and take 91. But for him, it wasn't that big of a deal that, he's not going to come in being a rookie asking, for Kapanen. So again, a small thing there, but always kind of leads back to what we're hearing about him being like very humble, being a team-first type of guy. Like, how does this just keep getting better? Like, if you had the skill, like, I'd almost be okay with a little bit of attitude just for us being, like, so goal-deprived for so many years here in Montreal. But, like, we're going to get, like, a guy who's going to be able to light the lamp, play that team game, but then also have, like, a team-first mentality. Like, it just doesn't get any better right now. I can't help but just thinking of the future and as he kind of grows with this team and, the success that he's going to take, like, again, him having like this is an amazing introduction of Montreal, his first game, that there's going to be that level of excitement and that's where he's starting off to really begin. It only leaves you like, where's he going to go from there? As he's kind of developing, he's going to start off so strong with this team with so much hype and receiving obviously so much love of where he can really bring this team and be a leader part of in the future as well. You just can't help but get excited.
I mean, absolutely. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, it's all coming true. Habs giving away number 93 jerseys where he's going to set foot in Toronto in just a few days. And I can't believe it. Hey, I was starting to wonder too, like, do you think there's any world where we run Kapanen down the middle, 91, and then Laine and Demidov on the wings, 92, 93? I don't think so. I mean, maybe it'd be cool with the numbers, but like, I think that's probably New Hook's spot. But hey, who knows, right? Like, some fun stuff happened. Who knows? It's going to be so fun. Let us know your thoughts on all this down below. We're just beyond hyped every single day for Ivan coming over finally. I mean, not even finally, before we ever expected. I don't know. The hype is unreal. We can clinch the playoffs, I believe, as soon as Friday, if certain losses go our way. More likely, probably Saturday or Monday, but there's so many great things coming. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching every single day. We'll be here every day. Don't you forget, all playoffs long. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.